I started as a software developer, then become a QA test engineer after 7 years. Now, more than 10 years I'm in this field. I will talk about usability testing. So one of the most neglected areas in software testing business. So I try to emphasize it and underline it. Is it running? Yes. Thanks for the organization. Thanks for having me here. It's my second time in Vilnius with this conference. My name is Baris. Today we're going to talk about usability testing. Before starting my session, I would like to invite you to test automation hackathon. Maybe it was not clear in the morning. Tomorrow there will be a competition, an international competition, and in the end of the competition, it's open to the audience, completely free. You can register here and listen to the sessions about test automation. So tomorrow we'll be talking about that. So hopefully you will come. So let me turn back here. As I have mentioned, I am coming from, I call it dark side. I am an ex-developer, so now I am on the Jedi Force. So I have been traveling a lot till now to several continents and countries, have some books in the field. I have some with me. I don't have 300 pieces, so you know Amazon is also selling my book to me, so they know how to earn money. Okay, let me start with this basic question. What is user experience and what is usability? And this is, which one is correct? Can we say a good usability brings good user experience, or a nice user experience brings usability? Something like chicken and egg, yeah? Which one comes from which one? What do you think? Which one is the correct one? Which is broader? When I give you the definitions, it says user experience is an end-to-end experience describing a person's experiences with a product or a service, and usability is the ease of use and learnability or operability or attractiveness of any product or service. For example, in your daily lives, when you, if you use Amazon, for example, you download the mobile app, and then you use it, you search for a specific product, everything is fine, you find the product, you add it to basket, then you proceed to checkout, then you start waiting for the delivery. It says it will be delivered to your house on Monday, but it never came. And on Tuesday you got angry, you go to App Store and give 1 star to the application and said, okay, this bullshit product never came. And all the designers of that application, imagine how they feel because of this 1 star, yeah? It's not their fault. It's some logistics problem. But you gave 1 star. It's not because of the design, or it's not because of the quality of the product, but it's because of the user experience it has given to you, the feeling you have. So, user experience is quite a famous subject for decades, but firstly it comes in 1990s with, for example, this ISO, and it says user experience starts with anticipation. when you think of a product or a service, the experience starts. Then afterwards, you decide on using that product, and it continues when you are interacting with the product, and it doesn't finish when you finished interacting. Also, we call it the post stage. After you use the product, you have also some feelings and emotions. That's why user experiences is very broad, as I've told you. And everything, all these priorities in usability area basically comes from the Maslow hierarchy of human needs. He says, first, we need to breathe, we need to drink, we need to eat. We call it physiological needs. Then you want safety. You look for a house. Okay. And then you can love someone. Okay, it doesn't mean that homeless people cannot love, but it comes after that, yeah? First, I should be safe. Then I can love somebody. Then it goes till the up. When we convert it into digital area, it means that it can be translated like the first and very initial thing I am searching in any product is functionality, like you all testers do, yeah? First, you check for the functionality, if it's there or not. Then you go for reliability, usability, and so on. If we degrade it into 3 levels and say that, okay, product should be useful first, so it should make sense to use that product. And then it can be usable, and finally, should be compelling. And when I turn this on, people tell me, for example, how can I give an example? For example, in military area, in defense sector, they say we are producing the screen of a tank. So we are sending rocket, something like that, and that screen, it cannot be compelling, so it cannot make you, it's like when you sleep, you suddenly wake up and try to send a bomb, so because it is so compelling, that screen, it cannot be the case. So they say some products cannot be compelling. They should stay in the lower levels. For example, it should be only useful or usable. But we don't think that way. We translate compelling like, does it offer you any experience worth sharing? We translated it in that way. Okay, a tank screen cannot be like an Angry Bird application, yeah? Like a game. It is not attractive from its origins, but it can be compelling still. So we need to achieve that level in any application. And when we look at these 3 dimensions of testing, we see that usability that is named under non-functional testing. Am I right? It is here. So usability testing is like performance testing, security testing, maintainability, reliability, and so on, which is there. And we have some equations here. Usability testing is hard because outcome is not black or white, like functional testing. Imagine you find a bug in an application and try to sell it to a developer, which is, by the way, the hardest thing in the world. Some developer will receive a bug freely, never happens. They try to reject it first. And their brain is, I know it from myself, binary, is like a Boolean function, 0, 1. So they just look for a program malfunction if there should be a defect. But if you send them a defect like this, okay, in this screen, users are confusing. Some users getting angry. Please fix it. And the first reply is, I can't understand. If I fill in all the fields and click on the button, it runs. Okay, but no one is filling the form. Okay, but if you fill it, it can be filled. But okay, it's very confusing. So no one can fill in the form. Something like that. So like a ping pong. So, but in usability testing, defects are more gray, drops into that area. They are not binary. And also, we say, if a product or service brings more value than pain, go for it. Otherwise, drop it. And okay, I will focus on users a lot in my session. For example, they think that usability testing is all about focus groups. So they bring 10 people together, ask them silly questions like, okay, how do you feel about my product? They say, okay, I love it. Some other people say, okay, it's a mess, so it's shit, so I don't like it. But you know, users, what they do and what they say are different, yeah? For example, they are complaining all day, but they use the product perfectly. In another instant, they are very happy when you ask them, but they are struggling when they are using the product. So what you should do is to observe them. You need to give them the tool or the product or the application and try to observe. And when we are in testing, we say that quantification is important. In order to convincing people, you need to have metrics in your reports. Like we have 100 test cases, 75 of them are passed, 15% is failed, something like that, which becomes quantified more easily. But you know, all these numbers are also relative, yeah? You know relativity. Who runs the tests? So what is the time you have spared for that activity? And quantification doesn't solve all the problems when you are in usability field. You need to have in your report that, okay, users doesn't like this. So you cannot say it in some numerical format. So what we should do, maybe you are familiar with this concept from Edward de Bono, which is a project management guru. He says, if you are managing a project, you need to think, you need to apply these 6 thinking hats. You need to be objective, you need to be process-wise, you need to be positive. You know, all this can be applied into testing. Sometimes we do happy path testing, sometimes we do negative testing, sometimes we just rely on specifications. But what about intuition? Generally, maybe in your test activities, you don't use your heart, but it is necessary here in this usability testing activity. So, how do you feel with this product, for example, is an important output of a usability report. So, and creativity also. These should be taken into account. And also, usability testing is an activity not done at the end. It should be done throughout the life cycle. It just starts with the requirements or user stories coming to you. You need to start evaluating those regarding the usability aspects, and then you need to do it till the end, and also after you go live. That's why we divide it into 2, formative and summative. That's formative evaluation happens before development, and summative happens after the product is there. And who should do it? Testers or users? The answer is, yeah, both can do it, by the way, but the more value-added one will be to observe a user while using the product. So you can do a heuristic inspection like an expert review as testers in your teams with your applications, but you need to go to the user, you need to go to the field. And we have many heuristics. For example, these 10 heuristics from Nielsen Norman, he's setting the ground for these usability discussions, and this came in 1990. And he says, okay, you can measure the usability of any product with these 10 rules of thumb. These are like rules of thumb. So, for example, if you are in any process, system should make its status visible to you, for example. If you interact with a system, it should give a reply, something like that, and many other things as well. So many techniques. I have many slides, so I need to jump to the important ones. And where to do it? In our first years with usability testing, we were selling this lab to our customers. We said them, okay, we have labs, we put user in, and we go out, we see that from outside, so, and we are very technological company, something like that, but we see that it is not a natural behavior, yeah? When you push a user into a room and try to observe his or her activities, it's not natural. So we prefer now to do it in the wild. So just we go to the field and go to, for example, a cafe. So you don't need to have a very expensive infrastructure to do usability testing. You just need a table and some pen, maybe, and the device or laptop. And these are also very popular, yeah? Eye tracking, I think all of you are aware of it. So where do users look at? And many companies calling us, do you do eye tracking? We say, yes, but why you need it? We want to see where they are looking. Why you want to see it? Because it's important. We had a banner in the website. We will see if they are looking at it or not. And also, this electroencephalography, complicated name, is a different device measuring the brain activity. You put it on your head and then measure, for example, give user a task, say, okay, send money from the internet banking application. He did it, and you say, okay, while he's doing it, he's a little bit nervous. His brain is telling us this. So imagine a lady like that under that infrastructure, so behaving normally, yeah? So just use the product as you were in your home. Okay, but I'm not like that in my home. Okay, pretend to be in your natural habitat. So that's why I don't pay attention to those silly stuff. And also in one day, okay, look, very handsome, oh my God, yeah? But this is eye tracking output. People are more looking at the nose, yeah? Not George Clooney. So, it means that looking at something very deeply doesn't mean that I like it, yeah? Okay, this way I will look at the mirror, oh, I'm lucky. So, something like that. That's why I'm looking at it so carefully. So eye tracking can create some misconceptions, misperceptions. And also, I will tell you a story. You know, when we do usability testing, we say people that, okay, we do timing, logging, we capture all the video of the session and so on, we capture success rate and so on. Someday, they called me from Japanese guys called our company, and they want to speak to a high-level man. They gave it to me, the phone, and they asked, okay, what kind of metrics you collect from your usability testing sessions? I said, okay, we do timing. We capture the time on task. Then we record it, so we can see it afterwards. Then I said, okay, we do eye tracking, we do blah, blah, success rate. And after that, I asked him, excuse me, what is your product? He said, is a closet. I said, closet? Yes, what you use daily. So we have an embedded software on it. So I don't know if you know it or not, but Japanese people are very into this, yeah? I don't know why. They take care of their important areas. So it can do many things for you. I will not go into deep in order to make this professional. So, but In the conversation he said closet. Then I said, okay, we cannot. Okay, success rate. Imagine. After the session, we said, okay, perfectly successful. You made it. Our user, yeah, nice. And time on task. This time it took a little bit long. What happened to you? So, your stomach, any problems? And I said, okay, guys, with your product, we cannot do all this. We just close the door, wait for them to go out, and ask them, how was it? So sometimes those metrics will fail, yeah? Those devices, eye tracking or another tracking, I don't know. How can I track that? Cannot be S tracking, something like that. Okay. Let's keep it professional. So, and some people, they ask me, how many users will you touch to how many people in your tests? And they want more and more, of course. For example, some bank called us. They said, how many users are you using in your usability test sessions? I said, 10 to 20. She said, oh, it's too low. Why? Because we have 20 million customers, she said. So I was expecting something like thousands. Okay, but this is not a statistical stuff. We will not say that, okay, this 5 users and this 4 users out of 5 users is using the product freely. So 80% of your users will use it freely. So it is not the case, yeah? You know, with statistics, you need to have more number of observation in order to be sure that the statistic there holds. But what we want here is to gain insight into the system. So not to have a statistical output. Just we are looking for usability defects. So that's why 5 to 10 people are enough for capturing all the defects. And people, they don't do usable testing because they say, we don't have time. Not an excuse, because you don't need so much time for it. Don't have money, you don't need money. Don't have expertise, you just need to observe people well. That is the only need from you. Don't have usability lab, as I have mentioned, you don't need it. And maybe the last excuse can be taken into account. We don't know how to interpret the results. That's why, because in this usability testing area, so many people from, for example, psychology is working or sociology is working, because they know user behavior. They know how to interpret their actions, gests and mimics. So is important, and these people are important. As I always say, there is a saying of Henry Ford. He says, if I ask these poor people what they wanted, they would say faster horses. Of course, they couldn't say you give me a car, yeah? So I think he didn't say it for humiliation, the people. So like these poor people, they just ask for a faster horse, but I produce a car. Look at me, how innovative I am. But it is not the case. I think in that case, users give you the site, yeah? Give you the point. So user is not always right, but has a point. This is our motto here. So they tell you to do a car indirectly, not directly, of course. And maybe, you know, users are more focusing on the solution space, not the problem space. They just want something from you. But if you ask why, answer is not there. Maybe you know this space pen story. Do you know it? Okay. NASA is some years ago, they asked to the astronauts that, okay, guys, you are living in the space, so you need to have many needs there. So what can we do for you? You are very important to us. What do you need the most when you are in space? They said, we need pen. Pen? Yes, pen. And okay, they said these guys are very important to us, so let's invest on it, and they bring space pen with $1 million investment. You know, I don't know if you know or not, but this normal pen would not work in the space because there is zero gravity there. So you need to do something else. But do you know what Russians do? Yes. It's just a pencil. And put it in a good coverage, and they said Russian space pen. So the official need was not a pen, yeah? The official need was writing something. I don't think that they specifically require a pen in the space. Just they want to write something. So as I've said, users are more focused on the solution space, but they need to be more on the problem space. They need to define their problem first. And when we do usability testing, this is my question. Can your grandpa or grandma use this product? And I remember a lot of stories with, for example, my mother. The first smartphone I have given to her 4 years ago or 5 years ago, it was an Android phone. She was jealous about my devices, so she said one day, okay, I want to send you messages from WhatsApp, some pictures, please, my son. I said, okay, I love you, so take this. And she took it, maybe 2 or 3 days. I did some orientation, 10 minutes. Then she grabbed the phone and gone. Then one day I'm calling her, but it's rejecting me, the operator. What happened, what happened? Then I understood that she blocked me. And with that Android phone, it's like that. While we are talking, when you do it like that, her chick push the button, it says block this person. And that's how she blocked me, but she wasn't aware of it, of course. Then later she said, okay, how can we solve this? The problem is it is not that easy. You go to settings, telephone settings, detailed settings, privacy, blocked users. Are you sure you are about to unblock this user? Yes. Are you really, really sure he can be dangerous? Yes. And then it's unblocked. So I got those screenshots, put them in a paper and send it to my mother, yeah? Look at me. Very caring son. And later, 3 days later, I saw them with my uncle, and my uncle was telling to her, okay, your phone is not working. What happened? I don't know. It's rejecting me. I said, okay, now new victim, yeah? So my uncle. And she said to me, okay, don't tell me how to do it. She grabbed his wallet, her wallet, and put out that paper. She put that paper into her bag, and she followed the steps. So this is not usability, yeah? Basically, technology is for humans. Humans are not created for technology. So, and in our many sessions, company men coming from the product side, they told us, where do you find this user? Is the first thing I always hear, yeah. I said, look at her. How do she is using the product? It's silly. How can you? I said, okay, this is your user. So users can do anything, yeah. And we guys, as an IT guys, we are very expert in using a product. That's why we have some patterns. We said that, okay, users don't do that, but they will do it. So definitely they will do it. And they don't use everything. You know, they are selective. We have Pareto rule there. They basically don't hate the change, but can hate you. If you are making their life harder, of course, they spread experience, good and the bad, but bad spread faster, of course, you know, bad things. And also they are emotional. Once they are connected to you emotionally, they will not let you go. So they will follow you, even you, they need to do more for you. And some users, you know, with this, for example, tool, it has 2 users basically. One is the horse, father, other one is the kid. Kid is happy, father seems to be happy, but I don't think that he is internally that happy. So It happens with many products in the field. Yeah, some users are positively discriminated, some others are vice versa. So you need to take care about it also when promoting some of the users. What about the others? What I'm doing to those? And for the mobile, maybe 2 or 3 minutes I will spend here. And when, especially if you are in mobile business, you know these are always carried and these are very private. So if you are especially doing usability testing in a mobile device, you need to know these facts. And what, for example, imagine, can you give your mobile phone for a 1 day to your girlfriend or boyfriend? Imagine a dialogue like this. Okay, my phone is broken, my love. So can you give your phone to me for a day with all the passwords? No. She can be your wife, husband, it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that you are cheating, but it's very private. It's always on and 1 meter away from me. And first I broke my phone. It was broken, the first phone. I went to the repair service. It was 20 years ago. He asked me, the guy on the front desk, he said, what happened to this? I said, now it's not turning on. And he asked me, are you turning it off while you are sleeping? I said, no. Do I have to? He said, hey man, this is not a refrigerator, yeah? It cannot be on all the time. You need to turn it off before you sleep. Imagine yourself right now. Yeah, if your cellular device is lucky, it's out of battery. Otherwise, it's always on. Am I right? So it's important thing. And users, they criticize. They want to give you 1 star all the time. That's why there is a Turkish investment like this. When you pay them some liras, they will find you people. They will give you 5 stars. 25 downloads, 25 5 stars. When I explained it in Germany, no one understood it. Yeah, they said, we understand the thing, but we couldn't understand how they can find you those users. How find you those users that are willing to give you 5 stars? I said, they pay them money. So in my country, it's like that. So, but normally Americans do it like that. Give me money and I will send you real feedback. In Turkey, it's a little bit distorted. Okay, maybe you know this concept. When you do, for example, testing, especially the mobile devices, you know there are highs and bugs. The bugs that disappear when you try to investigate. Imagine Apple. If it is older than 2 years, for example, it turns off when the battery is 40%, for example. Someday calendar doesn't run, but the other day it runs. There is a code. If the device is older than 2 years, then randomly generate bugs in several silly areas and make them disappear. After some time, you need to go to the shop and buy a new one, yeah, in order to get rid of this highs and bug stuff. For example, this never come up in a test automation session. What about fat-fingered people? They have a right to use applications, yeah? Imagine you have a fat finger, and when you try to push on a button, you push everything on the screen. So they have a community, fatfingers.com. So you can go. They are unhappy people most of the time. But those defects can be detected in usability testing more. So that's why we say don't automate usability testing. There are many tools, we know it, but basically if you require human feedback, you don't do automation. Am I right? So automation is not that smart because you do automation. People are like this. Oh, do you do test automation? So everything is solved. All the defects are detected. So you are very smart. Your company is very smart, but it is not the case. You know there is a man behind the code. You know it, yeah? So you do the automation, not some robot coming from space is doing for you. So it's basically for human feedback, we still require humans to test because users are human. So especially if you are doing usability testing, you don't do any kind of automation, including this eye tracking, brain tracking, whatever tracking devices. You need to observe it with your eyes, just by looking at the user. So these are my things and final words. Not just do functional testing. Please pay attention to usability testing and do it throughout the life cycle. Get to know your users, like Eddie said in his session in the morning, and prioritize them. Not all the users are important as you. Not all of them are in the same prioritization. So you do some kind of discrimination you need to do in your tests. Okay, and try to share your knowledge. So this is my ending. I think my time is up. So hope that you like my session. Thank you very much. I think no time left for anyone to talk except me, yeah?
Yeah, for the questions.
Thank you very much. I have a question. Is it possible to perform usability testing with the normal QA team? Because people use the application every day, and it's very easy to get accustomed with all the buttons.
Very nice question. We say that testers should act like users. They need to think from their perspective as much as they can do, but they are in the bottom line, they are not users. So this will not, your testing, the usability testing that a QA team is doing is not a replacement for user observation. You still need to do user observation. But what you can do as testers, you can follow some usability heuristics like rules of thumb, and you can check if your product is violating those rules or not. So this is a simple step you can take, I think. But it will not replace user testing. So it should be there. And we need to focus it more from my perspective.
Okay, thank you for the question and the prize.
Thank you.
Somebody was there.
Okay. People are tired. Yeah, not you.
So a lot of teams can be really bad at defining non-functional requirements in general. Like it should be fast.
Always.
It should be easy to use. Do you have tips on how to make those things more specific?
Yeah, it's a very nice point of view. The requirements, maybe more than 90% of the requirements are functional requirements, not the non-functional side. That's why we have methodologies like Agile. That's why we tend to have a product people into our team. That's why we want to have users involved into our methodology. So I think the only way to have those requirements is to work in collaboration with our users. Like in a small agile team, there is a product owner, and his responsibility is representing the product side. So together we should define the acceptance criteria, and together we need to also push them to give some ideas about non-functional requirements. So we need to do it together, and especially we need to include, for example, software developers in defining acceptance criteria. That's why in Agile we try not to emphasize the titles, try to tell everyone team member. So all of the guys in the team or the ladies in the team should collaborate in defining acceptance criteria. This is not a job for a business analyst. So it's a job also for a tester or a developer or a product owner. And when you combine this team together, many non-functional metric can come up. But if you exclude developers, for example, from this picture, nothing will come up because users cannot tell you that, okay, we expect this, the throughput will be, for example, 15,000 milliseconds. It's not coming from user side, but it comes more from the infrastructure teams. So you need to do create cross-functional teams and do collaboration. Is my basic view on it. Thank you.
Okay, I
And-
saw some hands here.
I don't see.
Oh, I
Oh,
see.
okay. I see hands, but they are down. So, yeah.
How often do you fix bugs when they are reported by 1 star in the feedback?
Me, not that often, but imagine a user acceptance test session. Many users are coming to those sessions. They are like this. I think you are agree with me, something like that. Okay, you need to put that button on the top. You can change this color. Footer is a little bit small. You can make it bigger. And you said to the user, okay, guys, design is over, yeah? This is testing. So, and you are just accepting the product. You will not love the product or you will not get married with the product. So try not to love it. Try just to ask yourself, how can I use it other than how can I love it? But at the same time, we do many bad things there. For example, in an experience of me, in a banking branch, there was 4 screens, one after each other, and when the user comes to the 3rd screen, and a customer is in front of her, for example, she should fill in the form with the data that is displayed in the 1st screen. So they need to go back, write them down on a paper, and when they come to the 3rd screen, they will fill it in. Because if they ask it to customer said, okay, I already said it to you in 30 seconds before. So something like that. And they are complaining about it. And do you know what analyst says or IT guys says to those? They said, it's a change request. You need to pay money, and we will do it for you. But then if you ask me, if you fill in the form, it works fine. Okay, but what some users are doing, when they are in the 1st screen, they do print screen, put it into Paint. When they come to 3rd screen, they will use that data with Control Tab, for example. This is a usability defect you need to fix. So this is not a change request. So as I always say, customer is not always right, but has a point. So if that 1 star is coming from that point, you need to fix it. Otherwise, users always cry, so you cannot stop it. So let them cry. Thank you. Thank you.